Listen boys, it is not every day that I get this excited to build a gaming PC. We build tons of computers on this channel and I love each and every single one of them and I have an absolute blast putting them together. But this one hits a little different because I ended up buying this case back in March and I just never got to building it because hardware prices are crazy and the stars never aligned for us to put this one together. And today we finally get to build this system and I couldn't be more excited to show you this case because honestly, you can't even get this case in the States yet. I had to purchase this from China and I think I bought it on AliExpress because they don't offer it on Amazon or anything from the United States so far. This is the Johnsbow X400 and you can purchase this case, but currently as I'm recording this, I don't know when you're gonna watch this video, but you can't purchase this in any other color than I believe it's like a black and gray, which still looks great, by the way. I mean, it's the same exact layout. This is just the white version, and this is the one that I wanted. And I reached out to Johnsbow. I do a lot of work with Johnsbow, and I wanted to see like if they could send me this, or at least point me in the direction to where I could purchase one for myself. And they said that it just wasn't available in the States, so I was gonna have to settle for the black one. And they were more than happy to send me the black one, but that's not the one that I wanted. I wanted this one, so I bought this myself, which makes this video even more fun because nothing in this video is like sponsored. I'm not here to push anything, and that's fun because now I can just hang out with you guys and I can build a computer and do what I love to do, and we can do it together. And since hardware prices are just absolutely terrible right now, it's gonna be fun that we can do this together since PC building is such a pain in the ass. So I'm gonna go ahead and read off a little bit of the manual for this thing so that you guys can get a good understanding of why this case is so cool. Now, when it comes to the dimensions of this case and how big it is, I'm gonna give it to you in millimeters and in inches because the last time that I did it in just inches, somebody called me out and got pretty upset about the fact that I just did it in inches. So in millimeters, this case is 460.2 millimeters deep, 310.3 millimeters wide, and 476.5 millimeters tall. For the motherboard support inside of here, you can run anything other than an EATX motherboard. We even have the cutouts for back connect motherboards if you just hate cables. GPU clearance up to 427 millimeters. CPU clearance of 176 millimeters. For fans, we can actually fit 13 fans in here, and I'm gonna try to fit 16 fans in here because it's way more fun to fit 16 fans in this case rather than 13 because I don't know, let's just do that. For drive support, we can fit one 2.5-inch SSD and up to two 3.5 HDDs if we want to. The case weighs 10.2 kilograms. And for the front I/O, we get two USB 3.2 Gen 1s, one USB 3.2 Gen 2, an audio mic combo, our power button, and a reset switch. And as far as box stats, I think that's all we really need to cover. I didn't buy it because of the box stats. I bought it because this thing is unbelievable. And it's basically everything that I want in a case. Now, when we look at the beauty of this thing, you would think that this like framing is metal. I know that we did a review on the Johnsbow, I think it's the Bow 400 case. It's that thing was unbelievable. That thing is like all like CNC machined. It's crazy. It's definitely a more expensive case because this is actually, you look at it and you think maybe this would be more premium. It's actually not as expensive as you would think. I paid a little bit more because it came from China, but if you were to purchase it on Amazon, I think the last time I saw it, it was like 130 bucks. It might actually even be cheaper than that right now. So it's an extreme value and it looks just unreal because this is actually plastic, all this framing here, and it has all the same features as the Bow 400, but it does it at a cheaper price point and it does it in white instead of the like gunmetal gray that the Bow 400 was in. Plus you get a couple more features with this that you don't get with the Bow 400. You can actually have two additional 120 millimeter fans here in the back. You can also fit two more behind the motherboard, which I think we're gonna do. There's been one other case that I've worked in where you had the ability to do that and we didn't. I think I'm gonna try to do it here, even though that's a lot of cables at the end of the day, but I think today is the day to do it. It also has that fun feature where if you push this button in the back, the panels will come off, so it's really easy to go ahead and remove your panels. Now, the thing that I really like about that is that it's not like that snap. I always feel like one bump on the desk and it's gonna like snap off and the glass is gonna fall and it's gonna shatter. It never has, but I always think that it's going going to. And I like the button because it's a locking mechanism, so I know that no matter what, as long as I'm not pushing this button, these panels are gonna stay on. The only downside, and there is really only one downside that I have towards this case, and it is the lack of dust filtration on here. If you look down here at the bottom, there is no dust filtration here, so it's just gonna be grabbing everything in your air. There's also no dust filtration on this gigantic mesh panel here in the back. It's like the whole back is perforated for airflow, and there's no way to stop the dust. So you are gonna build a little bit more dust inside of here than you probably would want, but the beauty of this thing and how much I enjoy it outweighs my displeasure of the fact that there's no dust filters. I'm just gonna have to make sure to clean it more often. Now let me go ahead and show you the motherboard that we're gonna be throwing inside of here today. This right here is the MSI B850 Edge TI. I have had this for a very long time, and the reason that I've had this for a long time is this board was originally going to go in the PC Build Up Challenge Season 2 giveaway computers. You know, I did 2 computers for those giveaways, and they both had identical MSI boards in them, and the white build was actually gonna have this board because I got it on like unbelievable sale, because this is an extremely feature-rich and very good motherboard, and I think it was like, I think I paid like $140 for it or something like that, and it was on Amazon brand new, which was crazy to me, and I bought it for that, but because this is such a higher power, it's a much more premium board than what we put in the 2 giveaway computers, I bought just like the white opposite of the board that we put in the black PC instead of using this one, and I've just held on to this. It's always been kind of the plan to put it in this build because I just really love this board so much. It's so good looking. Let me show it to you. Check this thing out. There is no motherboard that will match this build more. This, like, because it's not white, it's more of like a silvery kind of white, and that's gonna match the framing on here perfectly. Now for the hardware that's gonna be going on the motherboard, a lot of what we're putting inside of here is coming out of my previous system because this is gonna be my personal system and there's no need to buy a new 9950 X3D CPU when that's what I've been using in my previous system, and I have absolutely no problem with that CPU because it's an absolute beast. So I have my CPU right here. It's the 9950 X3D. It's an unbelievable CPU. If you do happen to have the money to pick something like that up, man, is it worth it. It is such a good processor. For the storage drive inside of here, we're gonna be going with my, ooh, hold on a second. Push and lift. I've never had a board with push and lift. This stuff was so simple. Let me show you. That is pretty nifty. I gotta say, I think I'm just simple. I get, you know, amused by some of the easiest stuff. And for the drive, we're gonna be going with my Crucial P510. It's a Gen 5 2 terabyte NVMe. I've been using it for quite some time. I am gonna reformat and kind of get myself a fresh start since it's a fresh PC. I have some other drives that are gonna be going inside of this build as backup drives for like all my video storage and things like that. So 2 terabytes is really all I need to house a couple games, and then all the rest of my stuff's gonna go on large spinning drives. And for the RAM we're using, this is actually a pretty funny story. When I was building the Geometric Future Model 5 Vent Edition PC build, that PC build has black RAM in it, and the black RAM was actually my RAM in my personal system, and this RAM was purchased for that build. But because it was an Intel, I think it was like a 265K CPU system, the RAM compatibility list for those Z, I think it was a Z, what are they, Z790s? I don't know. But regardless, the compatibility list for that board was so stupid that like I went through 3 kits of RAM before I just tried my RAM, which was black. It didn't match the white build, and it ended up working. So I ended up just putting that in the build and then keeping this for myself, since it is 32 gigs, 6,000 megatransfers per second RAM, and that's what I had in my current system anyway. So I just kind of swapped it out, and this didn't match my all black build, and now it's going in this. So it actually kind of works. I didn't have to buy more RAM that matched this build. We just used this RAM and put it in here, which is pretty intense, which is honestly, it worked out pretty nicely. All right, that's 1 and 2. That is absolutely gorgeous. Let's get it in the case. Hey, real quick, before I go ahead and move on to the CPU cooler for our build, if you could do me like the biggest favor and just like run down and see if you're subscribed to the channel, and if you're having a little bit of fun, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Times are crazy, and every subscriber matters, every subscriber counts, and I would love to see you guys here for more of the projects that we do. I have a lot of fun stuff planned, and if you could be so kind as to hit the subscribe button, and then maybe smash the like button, and they have like a hype button now. If you want to hit that too, I really appreciate that. But for the AIO that we're gonna be using today. This is a brand that I've seen around, and I've wanted to use them, but I never did. It always seemed like it would be pretty cheap, but they came out with this AIO, and I'm a sucker for a screen, just like everyone else in the universe. And I saw that this had a screen on it, and I thought maybe it would be cool to check out. The name of the company is Jungle Leopard. I've seen their fans quite a bit, but their fans are these types of fans, like these infinity fans. And I'm not like a huge fan of these, and they look nice. These ones are nicer than a lot of them, but I always saw their fans before, and they always just seemed like they would be cheap fans. Now, let's go ahead and crack this thing open. They package it really nice. Check this packaging out. You see? It's very well packaged. Hardware, and then this should probably be the screen. Ooh, put the plastic back on it for now. It's a pretty nice screen. And let's go take a look at the actual unit here. You know what it looks like? Looks like every other AIO in existence. People will spend like $300 on an AIO and get the exact same performance as like an $80 AIO. It's just, I understand that like pump head looks different, it's kind of like a different screen, but this one has a pretty decent sized screen. Plus this looks really cool. I think this lights up and it's like clear and it looks nice. I think I'm gonna go get my fans because we're not using these fans. I will be right back. All right, say hello to my big, massive, heavy box of fans. This was sent to me by Johnsbow. Like I said before, I have a great relationship with Johnsbow. I've worked with them a lot. And if I were to pick a case manufacturer, I think that Johnsbow is seriously underrated. Remember, this is not sponsored. Like none of this is sponsored, and I'll still say it. I think Johnsbow is one of the most underrated companies when it comes to cases and fans. Everything that I've used from them, aside from maybe like the one or two random cases, and I've built in almost every single one of the cases that they offer, have just been amazing. All right, let's see, which ones are we using for this build? Aha, the XA120. So we got the XA120 here. These are two single XA120s. These are the ones that are gonna go on the back of the case. And then I have a whole bunch of XA360s. Most of them are reverse blade. And then actually two of them are reverse blade and two of them are exhaust for the AIO. I've got 4 here. They did send these, and thank you, Johnsbow, for doing that. These are gonna look amazing in this case. Put them up here for now. I do have a couple other things. This one's got the LED screens in the fan. You'll see that in our next PC build. I'm gonna save the rest of the goodies that I have in here for that build. Now, while I was going through this box, I did realize this is actually pretty unique about Jungle Leopard. Check this out. So these have covers over these screws. That's a sticker. You know, obviously this isn't designed to come off. They want you to keep it on, but they covered the screw holes with these, just kind of like Lee and Lee fans, so that you don't see the actual screw, which is nice. It's a nice touch. But we do need to take this off because we will not be using this fan. I will use this in something else later. And there goes the fan. So this is actually a different model than I've used before. If you look at like, I'm sure my editor can throw up some footage of the Bow 400 build that I did. Those fans are also from Johnsbow. They're a similar design, but these are like an updated version. I like how these look because it's not so rounded. It's got a little bit more structure. I'm excited to see how these look in comparison because they're looking pretty nice. And they have a little like touch of gray to them, which will match this build really well. These actually also connect through USB-C. Oh, there it is, yeah. So USB-C cable just plugs in right there. Fancy. I'm gonna have to mount it with the pump tubes on the right. We are gonna be going push-pull, so this is gonna be real big. I kind of wanted that because, let me pull this over here so you guys can see. If it didn't have push-pull and it was just running normally, there's this big gap here, which would be perfect for like a screen, I guess you could put there. But I didn't really want to see a lot of that. I wanted to fill that up. So the radiator is gonna sit about here with extra fans. So you'll have some RGB on top and bottom. I think it's gonna look really nice. You also have to make sure that you mount this correctly because the infinity fan is here. So you can either, oh, what? That's so cool. You can either run the infinity mirror, which is right here, or you can just run an RGB strip, which is on this side. Now, I don't know what to do. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. I think we're just gonna go with the RGB strip over the infinity mirror and just pray that that is the right way to go. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's lower this desk down because this is a big, beefy girl we got here. All right, let's see if we can't squeeze this in. And then we can get a good look at her. I'm here mounting it, and the screws are over here. Why is this always the case? Got it. Now I'm not gonna tighten this down completely because we still have to put in our exhaust fans. And if I tighten this down completely, then I might have to loosen it back up and move it from left to right. Because as you see, it does move a little bit and that'll give us some clearance for our back fans here. Oh, well, there it is. Let's put the desk back up. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about that. The fans are bigger than the AIO, and they're also slightly different colored. I don't know if I should have gone infinity mirror there. All right, so off camera, I made the decision to flip the fans and use the infinity mirror side rather than the like RGB strip. I like the idea of the minimalistic ARGB, but the fan color difference versus the AIO in the case, I wasn't a fan of that. I didn't think it looked very good. So it definitely looks better with the infinity mirror on there, even though a lot of times I feel like infinity mirrors kind of put things into a tacky category rather than a beauty category, which, you know, obviously some people disagree with that. They think that, you know, the infinity mirror is the best. So now let's go ahead and get our mounting bracket on. This pump needs to, I guess these tubes will be at the bottom here. Gotta mount like this. Why won't that fit? Can I flip this? Why is this not fitting? Does it fit the other way? Okay, it fits like that. Oh no, the tubes need to be at the bottom. Why is this mounted so weird? Oh, let me show you what I'm talking about. This right here, for the tubes to be at the bottom, which is where we want to mount it. We want to mount it like this, right? Because these 3 dots correlate with the screen. So there's the 3 dots on the screen. So that way you can have it up like this, sideways, or the other way, so you can control the orientation of how you have your screen here. But with the mounting brackets, the way that it is, this thing right here, so you'd have to mount it like this, and that would make it so that you could only mount it with your AIO like that, like this, and down. You couldn't have it like that, because it wouldn't make connection. I can't get it to mount like this, it's only mounting like this. I don't know if I'm explaining this well enough, but this is not cool. There's no way that they messed this up this bad. Come on, if I force it. Oh, I think I got it. There it is. Okay, come on, that was ridiculous. They need to look into that. What a pain in the butt. So we are at thermal paste application now, and no offense to Jungle Leopard, I'm sure your thermal paste is just fine, but we're gonna go for the MX6 instead. It's a higher quality thermal paste. I've been using this for a long time. And now we fasten her down. Screw her down and put some good pressure on it. Ooh, check this thing out. All right, so this is the screen. Look at that, watch. I can put it like this so that it kind of lifts back over here a little bit more to cover up a little bit more of this space, or I can put it up so you have like a whole different orientation, or I can move it over to this side so it takes up and covers a little bit more of the RAM, kind of like the Thermaltake AIO that has that big screen. I think this is gonna be cool. I might go with the screen like this. I think this kind of looks good, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Okay, I guess we should move on to power supply. Now the power supply that we're gonna be using is from my previous build. It's a 1050 watt power supply. Pretty beefy supply, but it's a pretty powerful system. Now it is black. Obviously this is a white system. I would prefer a white power supply, but who's looking at the back of the PC anyways? Plus, we're gonna be using cable extensions. You're not gonna know through the cables that I'm using a black power supply unless I were to like turn the PC around, which I don't know about you. You may do that, I don't do that, so this will work just fine. So earlier I did say that we're gonna be putting some high capacity drives in here. We did have the 2 terabyte Gen 5 NVMe, which is great for like quick storage games and things like that. But when it comes to like large files and things like that, which I do a ton of, like I have so many videos that I don't wanna delete. I worked really hard on them and I'd like to store them locally. You know, obviously a NVMe is not the place to put that. High capacity HDD is the way to go. And to do that, I have 3 Exos Enterprise drives. These are 3 18 terabytes, what is that, 54 terabytes worth of storage space inside of here. So I think 54 terabytes should be pretty good for at least a little while. Now you can only store 2 in this build. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna mount 2 to the cage that we're supposed to put them in. And then the third one, I'm gonna try and figure out a way to just kind of slide this in somewhere. Realistically, I want to put the 2 fans up top here that we can do, but I'm looking at the back here. It might be better. I would much rather have the drive than extra fans. So I may just slide this up here and mount it somehow rather than use the fans. This is way more valuable than 2 fans that aren't really necessary. Now, for anybody who's thinking to themselves, wow, Ryan, that's a heck of a lot of storage you picked up for this build. I didn't buy it for this build. I've actually had this for a very long time. These drives are residual drives from my Chia mining days. I don't know if anyone knows what Chia cryptocurrency mining is. It was hard drive mining. It was fun. I did it for a little while. I think I had up to time like I had like 200 terabytes worth of plots. It was a thing. I'm not gonna go over how to Chia mine. But there we go. There is 2 of our drives. Let's go ahead and slide this sucker in. Bam. All right, so we have our beautiful fans here. Let's go ahead and get them in. They are reverse blade, so I'm gonna be running a reverse blade fan down here. It's 360 millimeter fan, and then another 360 millimeter reverse blade here, so that we have intake from here and from the bottom. And then I have the 2 exhaust fans that we're gonna be putting on the back wall here. Should be plenty of airflow. I don't see why anyone would be upset with it, even though it seems like every video, somebody's like, well, if you did the fans this way, it'd be better. You'd probably decrease your temperatures by like 0.5 degrees. One here, we're just trying to see what this is gonna look like. Oh, that's a tight squeeze. Let's get this one in later. Do this one first, that's the play. And then this one, I don't know, let's show you. What do you think? I think it looks pretty nice. Ooh, I just learned something I had no idea. These are magnetic. What? These actually have magnets in them. That's so crazy. I wonder, there's nowhere that like I can, hold on, let me grab the back panel. All right, here's the back panel. It's perforated, so hopefully this sticks. Barely. Oh, look at that. It's holding on. It's perforated, so it doesn't have a lot to grip on, but look at that, it's magnetic. I don't know why. Why would it be magnetic? You know what? I can see why it would be beneficial. Hold on, check this out. So this fan right here needs to go down at the bottom here, and I need to line up these screw holes, and I need to lay it down like this so that I can screw it in, and it didn't hold. It still slid down. I guess because this is perforated too, but I mean, I guess they would all be perforated, right? I don't know. I guess it's just something to know. All right, bottom fan is in and looking beautiful. Let's go ahead and get this side fan in. And we'll get that screwed down as well. Right here is where that magnet would come in handy. It's not working though. All right, so this is looking real good. Let's go ahead and get to the last 2 exhaust fans so that we can be almost done with this. I'm really excited to see it all lit up and beautiful. So I have to ask, do any of you other PC builders ever build a computer and just everything stays organized in your room? Because by the time I finish a computer build, my room is basically just trash. There's just stuff everywhere. All right, so I slid the AIO up a little bit. Let's cross our fingers that this is gonna fit. Ooh, it does. That is a tight fit though. Honestly, with the push-pull configuration and how close this fan is to the top here, I don't know how much benefit this is gonna be having, but I think it would look weird if I didn't have one up there and I just had one here. So yeah, I mean, it has to go up here, even though I don't know how much air it's gonna pull out, but that's where it's gonna live, boys. So I think what I need to do is I need to install the bottom one first, because the hole that we have to thread this thing through up in the top there is about that big, about the size of most people's buttholes. And I've gotta get it through there. So I don't think if I install the top one first, there's just no way I'd ever get to it. So we're gonna have to do the bottom fan first, and then we'll do the top fan second. We'll thread this through first.
2 very boring minutes later.
It won't fit because the bottom one is there, and there's not enough space up top to wedge it in. So now the bottom fan needs to come out. Oh, son of a bitch, I just installed the top one in upside down. Shit.
5 minutes later.
All right, there's all the fans are in. Let's get you a good look. So I was thinking about mounting the back fans now, but before I do that, I did want to check and see if this vertical GPU riser will fit in here with the bottom fans. I was concerned that this was a purchase that just wasn't going to work out due to space limitations, because I feel like they shortened this bottom section here to add these 2 exhaust fans here. And I worry that I won't be able to get the GPU, the vertical GPU mount in here, which is what I would really like. I would really like to have the vertical mount If I can do vertical mount on a GPU, I'm always gonna choose that over a traditional mount. I don't know, I just think it looks better. So I picked up the Coolmaster vertical mount because it's like the most beefy one that you can find. And it's pretty wild how this can like extend out so you can have like more space and like your graphics card could be more in the center. I like that it has that level of customization in it rather than just being like your normal vertical mount and it just kind of sits there. This is always just, it's a little bit nicer. And this is a nice build. So it deserves a nice mount. Now I do have a secondary vertical mount that I've had for a little while. If this doesn't work, then maybe that one will, but this is already, we're already looking pretty tight, boys. I don't know if this one's gonna fit. Honestly, in testing this, the only limitation, the only thing that I'm seeing that really is stopping us from being able to use it is this thumb screw on top. So I think, I'm not 100% sure, if I take this thumb screw out, I might be able to put a normal screw in there and it will fit. Dude, you guys are not gonna believe this. Check out the clearance here. That's unbelievably close. So I actually just went and grabbed some dinner with the family, and while I was off camera, I went ahead and put the fans in this back section here. These are just some generic fans. They're ARGB. I really don't care if they're ARGB or not, because you're not really gonna be able to tell anyways, but I mean, they look all right. Putting these in is actually extremely easy. There's these two pegs back here. All you're gonna have to do is line it up, kind of push them through this peg and then pull down, and then they just kind of screw in and you've got them in there. But the problem is, I have to get our CPU power attached to the board before we can go ahead and do that, because this is actually really close to where those cables are gonna run. And the last thing I wanna do is have a cable hitting the back fan here and just continuously making a noise. That would be super annoying. So because of that, I think it is time to go ahead and get our cable extensions added into the build here so that we can add our GPU riser and vertical mount and be done. Now for our cable extensions, we're gonna be going with a orange and white. For some reason lately, I've been on an orange kick. I mean, I got an orange phone case. My last PC had orange accents in it. I don't know what that is. I was never really a big orange fan growing up, but orange is speaking to me lately. And I did a white and orange build one other time. I think we gave that computer away to a subscriber, and I really enjoyed that build, and I want one for myself. So that's what we're gonna do today. And since it's kind of a pain in the butt to do, I'm gonna just fast forward through that whole experience. So I totally made a mistake on our cable extensions. There was only one CPU cable, not two, and this board takes two. So unfortunately, we're going to have one cable and then one colored. I don't think it really matters. You can barely tell anyways. But let's start trying to wrap things up. Let's get this into the case and then add our GPU so that we can see this thing light up. Now remember, like a long time ago in the beginning of the video, I did say that there was one piece of hardware in here that was gonna stick out a little bit, and that is gonna be the graphics card. And the reason I say that is because the graphics card we are using is my Gigabyte 5080, which is a black graphics card, and this is a white build. And the reason that I'm using this card right now is because it's a good 5080. I have it on hand, and I've been using it for quite some time. Plus, I'm in talks with a specific company. I'm not gonna say which one. And we are obviously building this PC now, but this one will eventually, pretty soon, get stripped, and we're gonna be doing something fun to this thing, which will make it so that this graphics card is no longer black. I'm sure a lot of you guys can figure out what we're doing. But I am excited to do that video, and the reason I've kind of held off and we're gonna do this build first is because it's been a very long time since I've done what we are going to do to this PC, and I wanted to get my clearances right. I feel like I'm not hiding it well, what we're gonna do to this build later. But here she is, my 5080. Listen, black or white, this is still a beautiful card, and anybody who has a 5080, we should all just feel lucky that we were able to get one, because they are stupid expensive and so many people can't. Let's get this thing in here. This build looks so good. You can't tell me this doesn't look good, even with the black GPU. Obviously, I'd like a white GPU in here to match the build, but don't worry, like I said, we got a fix for that coming. This still looks, that looks crazy. This looks so good. Ooh, I can't wait to fire this thing on. But first, we gotta try and get these back fans on. You know, hopefully they fit, even with like this crazy rat's nest of cables that we've got going on right now. I think, based off of how I've got the CPU installed, there it is, look at that. They spin just fine. So everything is installed other than this last 18 terabyte drive. It obviously looks terrible back here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna fix that up. I'm gonna try to shove this in there. Hopefully I can just like wedge it in between all the cables and it'll work, and then I'll put everything back together and I'll turn this thing on. Woo, baby, this thing is looking good. We make one heck of a team. You guys ready to see what we built here today? I say we do a little montage, right? It's not a PC rehab build unless we do a little montage. So I gotta say it, I think that you and I today, right here, have created something that is super beautiful. I mean, this is one of the nicest looking builds that we've ever put together, even with the black graphics card. I mean, to be completely honest, the black graphics card actually might be like a win for this build. It kind of draws your eye to it. It's a beautiful looking card, especially when the fans start spinning and the ARGB lights up around those fans. This is just, it's a remarkable build, and I'm so happy that you and I got to build it together, but it's not without its problems. Let me tell you that. The ARGB fans inside of here, Johnsbow fans, I love Johnsbow fans. There is an issue with these ones though. If I daisy chain more than 2 fans together, the RGB just goes nuts. You can't control the proper color, and if you try to set it to white, it just flickers like crazy. I've seen that happen with some other fans, and it's so bad with this one that even the top 360 brick of fans isn't lit up. I can't find a configuration where I can illuminate that top fan brick and not have all the lights go insane. It really, really sucks. And the other thing that really sucks is that the Jungle Leopard AIO, while it does look good now, the software that comes with the Jungle Leopard AIO is absolutely terrible. I mean, it is just no good. I don't think that I'll use another Jungle Leopard AIO until they fix that software. It's just crap. But other than those small issues, we have an absolute win here. We have 56 terabytes worth of storage space, a 9950X3D and a 5080. I mean, it's as strong a PC as most people need. The only upgrade that I think that I may want to do is another 2 terabyte SSD here for more quick storage, and then probably upgrade from 32 to 64 gigs of RAM at some point if the prices ever normalize. Until then, I'm not in any hurry to go to 64 gigs because I really don't need more than the 32 that I have in here. But thank you for being here with me today. I know this has been a longer video, but I enjoyed hanging out with you, putting this beautiful thing together. It was an absolute blast. And I can't wait to see you right here for the next video.